Flower. And we got Nina Tech in the building. So, what's up, Nina?
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. I'm good.
For sure. So we'll start the interview. So pretty much how this interview goes is pretty much flows just like a regular conversation. We just ask you questions and then me and Taylor go back and forth with you. So pretty much like we start every interview. What was the first thing that got you really inspired to make music?
The first thing that got me really inspired to make music, I've always been into music like my whole life. Even when I was like in grammar school, I was in like the jazz band and stuff. So I've always done music in some form. I've been in like marching bands, classical bands, choirs, and all type of shit. So like I've always done music. And then once I got to high school, I just kind of naturally started rapping. I used to like write poetry, used to write songs, but I can't really sing. So like the only natural thing to go to next was like rapping. So then I just started trying it out and I really liked it, and that's just how that happened.
That's decent. What did you play in the marching band? That's interesting.
A clarinet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, my sister used to play the clarinet.
Yeah, I was raw too. So.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, like, who really inspired you, like, to get in that rap lane? Like, what artists inspired you, or were there somebody locally?
I would say probably my biggest rap inspiration is Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC.
Oh, wow.
That's who really inspired me. Like, when I was probably like 14, 15, I went on this crazy TLC binge. Like, I watched all their videos, all their interviews, like live performances, and I just really liked her. And then I watched her documentary Last Days of Left Eye, like right before she died. And I also just liked her mind and like the way that she thought and what she had going on, and just she was so ahead of her time, and she was just so raw. And I'm like, yeah, I really like her. So that's what really made me, want to start rapping. You could put on any Left Eye verse and I know it.
So what made you gravitate towards her? Was it really just that?
I think it was just like how like ahead of her time and out of character she was versus everyone else. Like, she was the one who always had the crazy styles. Or for example, like I used to watch their like live tours and stuff. And so like TLC, they do this thing where each one of them get their own little part to do something cool on the tour. And, like Chili and T-Boz were singing and dancing, and she came out doing magic tricks and shit. And like she's just so different and she's so cool and stuff. Like you can go back and find a video of her like in the 90s with the fat ass Crocs, like platform Crocs with the shit on it. Like she was just so ahead of her time and making shit that sounds like shit now. And I'm just like, wow, she's really raw. She had this crazy mind, the way she thought. She wrote their songs, she produced a lot of their songs, and she just was so all around talented. I was just like, yeah, I really like her. She just really inspired me.
Wow, I need to peep.
You should really like. She's a really good legend. Like she's a fucking legend.
So did you take some of that style and kind of translate it into yours?
Yeah, like she had her own style, and I have my own style, and we're definitely kind of different, but I do take that inspiration. She had really crazy wordplay and stuff, so I always try to like think about that, and just the way that she would ride beats, or in ways that you might necessarily not expect someone to come on it. Like, when I make music, if I hear a beat, the first flow that I hear on it, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that flow. Like, let me think of a different one that wouldn't be the first thing to come to mind or some shit like that. So that kind of comes from her.
So do you write your verses then?
Yeah.
Or do you write all your verses, or do sometimes you? Okay.
Nah, I ain't none of that. It's just me. It's just me.
I feel you. Yeah. So take me back to that early Nina. So like, when did you really start to think like, okay, I'm good at this? What was like the first track or the first time?
Well, okay, so I was making music with my friends at first. And we were just on some, like, we gang, like, let's, like, make music, like, whatever. And slowly, my other friends kind of started dropping out of it. So it was, like, 4 of us. And then, like, 2 of them, they would realize, like, yeah, we can't rap. But then, like, me and one of my other friends, we was like, well, we can, shit. Like, we actually good at this. So that's what really made me, like, be like, oh, I can actually do this. Because I was putting shit out, and I was scared. And obviously, I wasn't getting, like, all good feedback, but the good feedback that I was getting, I was holding on to it. I'm like, shit, somebody think I'm raw, so like, let me keep trying, let me keep doing it. And so yeah, that's what just made me be like, okay, I'm decent. And then I did my first show, and it was great. Like, it was so bussin', and it was just like the energy was great. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do all the time. Like, after that, I was just like, yeah, this is what I want to do with myself.
Definitely. Where's the first show at?
So my first show, it was at the Double Door. It's not even open anymore. But it was at the Double Door. It was like one of the Red Bull shows, and I was opening for Playboi Carti. And it was like Really fucking turned.
What was that, like 2017, 2016? What was that?
17.
Yeah, like
that was the time.
Yeah,
Man,
like 2017. I was young as hell. I was like,
Just graduated.
yeah, I had just graduated. I was like 17, 18. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And it was crazy because I did that show right when I was in college. So I was going to college in like Indiana and driving back to Chicago on the weekends to do rap shit. And it was very interesting. I felt like I was living a double life because I was going to Purdue, a PWI, and then I come back and I'm like Nina Tech. I'm rapping and shit. It was crazy, but it was fun though.
So that first show, were you rocking it? Did you have a lot of confidence going into it?
No, not going into it. Like, I remember right when I was about to get on stage, I was literally shaking. Like, my hands was, like, shaking. My voice, I was trying to talk. I'm like, I'm like, oh, damn, I'm finna get on stage. I'm finna not say shit. I'm finna open my mouth and nothing gonna come out. And then I got on there and, like, somebody in the crowd had a sign that said my name on. I'm like, okay. And, like, people just were, like, the energy, I felt like they were ready to accept me. So I'm like, all right, I'm here. Like, let me do it. So I did it. And I had a lot of, like, people I knew and, like, friends around me. And it was really fucking busted. It was so many people on the stage. It was actually kind of wild. I won't do that again. But, like, it was, like, 20 people on the stage. I'm glad, though. I would have been scared if it was just me. So, but it was really fucking fun. Yeah.
That's what's up. So did that, like, kind of translate into your first mixtape album, Nina Gone Wild, or when did that come into play?
So, like, honestly, when I first started making music, I was young and I was like young-minded, and I took it seriously, but I just didn't think of it in the way that I think of it now. I wasn't really thinking of it too much as like from a business standpoint or anything like that.
Definitely.
I was still kind of just worried, and I still was almost feeling like I couldn't take it that seriously because it wasn't a sure thing or whatever. So then, like, after a while, I just like, this is what I want to do. Like, even if I could find something else maybe that's a sure thing or whatever, it wouldn't be what I would love doing. So I'm like, I'm just really gonna take this seriously. So, like, starting with like Nina Gone Wild and those songs around that time is like when I was really like, all right, I'm about to go. Like, I'm about to do this shit. I'm about to go hard and like really giving my all. And yeah, so
yeah, definitely, because you had some bangers on there that still knock till this day, like, for real. And I appreciate, like, seeing you actually perform at Girls Weekend.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah. Speak on that.
Oh man, first of all, I'm so happy I got to do that. That was literally like the week before they locked shit down. So I'm really glad, like, because that was the last hurrah for real. But man, that shit was fun because I was really nervous. That was the first show I'd done in Chicago in a long time.
Really?
Yeah. So I was nervous because I'm like, this is the first show in my city. But I was so excited. Like, this is the first show in my city in a minute. And I got such a good reception. Like, the crowd was turned. It was a really fucking good show. And I really had a lot of fun. I split my pants, though, like, while I was performing. Yeah, I feel like people didn't really notice. But I fucking knew them bitches was over with after that show. But besides that, it was really fun. I love performing. And it made me sad, like, that everything closed right after that.
That was so crazy, for real. The week after that,
it was just over.
Everything.
We got right in there, like right in there. So yeah, it was fun.
That shit was lit, because that's my biggest thing now. I love when I hear music and then it translates into the performance. And for you, perfect. You know what I'm saying? A couple of those artists that was there, they performed good, so I'm happy that I could see that, because it really shows their character. You feel me? So.
Yeah, I love to perform. It's like a feeling like no other. That shit crazy. I love performing.
What was your favorite performance? Was it the first one or Girls Weekend, or do you have any other ones?
Favorite performance? That's a hard one. I'm trying to think, because it has to be one that really sticks out in my mind. But I'm trying to think about which one it is. Damn, you really got me with that one.
You say all.
Okay. I say my favorite show. It was maybe like 2 years ago, maybe. And it was a Red Bull Weekender. Like, it's like a festival in Pennsylvania, and it was just like a fat ass indoor festival. So it was like a hip hop room, it was like a alternative room, and it was just people performing simultaneously the whole night, and I was performing in the hip hop room. Man, that shit was so fucking busting, like, cause the energy was just crazy, cause it was festival energy but contained into like a resort situation. So it was very fucking busting, and not only was like the show itself busting, but the whole weekend was just like crazy. They were throwing like pool parties and crazy shit. It was real fun. So that's probably it. My fave.
I feel you. So performing, is that like the best thing out of being an artist, you feel like, or what is like the most favorite thing you like to do?
I would say it's between performing and doing visuals. Like I really like making visuals, music videos, and all of that shit. I like the end result. That's what I say. I like the end result. It's not necessarily always as fun like doing it for hours at a time to get a 3-minute video or whatever, but I really like the end result, and I love like doing cool visuals and getting to like get that shit out of my head. Because when I write songs, I'm like writing songs with a video in my head already.
Really?
Like, yeah, I'm just like, I can see what's gonna happen in this video, so I love to like see it come to life and just get out there. So that's probably my favorite part. Yeah.
Would you ever like want to be like an actor or like get into actually like
I would. I would definitely do some shit. Like it depends on what kind of role I could get. I would want to get a role where I can still kind of be myself a little bit. But I definitely would be down. And I've always wanted to be like a voice actor too, like voice a cartoon character or something.
No,
that would
real.
be cool as hell.
That shit raw, like for real.
That shit's fun. So I would probably do that too. That's probably easier than like outright acting too, because I ain't never really did that. But
so what other like inspiration do you gain from other than just like musically? Like do you like watch a lot of movies? Like do you gain inspiration from movies? Like what other things do you gain inspiration from?
Yeah, I really like movies, so I do watch a lot of movies and stuff. But honestly, I really get inspiration from like living life, and I know that kind of sounds head ass, but I notice I make my best music when I'm experiencing something. Like if I'm out of town, I write my best songs. Or like if I just had a fun ass trip or a good ass experience, it inspires me. Like my inspiration comes from like my inner happiness kind of. So if I'm having fun and if I'm enjoying my life, like I feel inspired and it helps me, right? Like, you know, I'll go outside and see a tree and be like, damn, I got an idea for a song or something, you know, because I'm just feeling it. But like if I'm bored or if like it's not really too much going on, it's almost hard for me to get into that mode. Like when quarantine first started, I was trying like every day to like write music and make music, but it just wasn't hitting the same because I'm just like, I'm sitting in the crib all day and I'm just like, I don't finna, no, and I hated everything I did. It was hard, and like we were in the crib like for 2 weeks just trying to do shit, trying to make music or whatever, and honestly I don't think we made like one song. We probably made like one song, so yeah,
it's breaking that cycle. And you segue perfect into that because I was just about to ask you about what you've been up to since quarantine. So have you broke that cycle of making songs? Like what you've been up to?
Yeah, like I've learned to create experiences for myself kind of now. Like I'll go places by myself or go see beautiful things, take myself on rides and things like that, so I can, you know, just get myself inspired. And also I just feel like I've been working on myself like on some internal shit, so it's like showing on the outside and it's making it easier for me to create too, because like I feel better and like happier on the inside and shit. So I think that's really what has gotten me out that like slump, is just being like, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm doing the best for myself and like making sure like every part of my like life is, I'm pampering myself in it, and it makes it like easier for me to create and shit now. So
100%.
And I'm kind of used to it now. Like we've been in this shit for like months and months now, so it's kind of
bettering yourself for real, you know. Because you got hella time.
Literally,
for real. So how did your new EP come about? Pull Up. Was that songs from quarantine or?
Okay, it's actually interesting. So the title song "Pull Up" is a song that I made when I was like 15. Like I made the song a really long time ago, and I've always really liked the song, but I made it and I made a lot of mistakes when I recorded the original draft of it. And I've been trying to re-record that song for years, and I just can't get it to sound. I couldn't get it to sound the way that I wanted it to sound. Like I couldn't get it to sound like the original, and I wanted it to sound just the same with just a few little differences. So every time I would try to re-record it and it wouldn't work, I'm like, fuck it, and then I finally got it. I'm like, oh yes, like I need to drop this song. Like I'm happy I finally got it. And I was just I had already recorded a few other songs and was just had beats and like shit written, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like we should just make this EP because I really think that they flow together really nicely. Like I found myself, because once I record songs, I just listen to them all at the same time. So I found myself listening to them all at the same time, and I'm like, wow, this sounds good, like a complete project. And I'm like, all right, so let's make it an EP. So we did it.
Yeah, so it fit perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. It came together like perfectly. It was really fun recording it. Yeah.
So out of all the songs on there, what is like your favorite that sticks out? Because to me, it's definitely I Ain't. Like when you start off with that, because I love that most people do now. Like back in the day, a lot of people used to like drop projects and they used to put an intro track in there.
Yeah.
But now people get straight to the point,
Straight to
and
it.
I love that like you grab so much attention with that song because once people hear that, they want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it still has that same charisma all the way throughout. So.
You know, it's funny because my favorite songs are never other people's favorite songs. Like,
right.
the songs
It's
that I like the most,
always,
it's never the ones I like the most.
that.
Like, I like I Ain't, but my favorite song is Bad Habit. And the reason that's my favorite song is because it's one of those songs that just came to me real easy. Like, I love when a song just comes to me and I can just flow. Like, I did that shit in like one take, and like it was just really, I just loved it a lot. So that's probably my favorite song. I really do like I Ain't though, and I knew that everybody else would too, which is why I put it first. It's interesting, like, cause I be having to think like, okay, this is my favorite song, but what will everybody's favorite song be? And I'm like, yeah, it's probably that one. But I really like I Ain't too, and when everything I said in that song, I meant it because I wrote that song when I was mad. So like I was really like talking shit, and I really meant that shit. So yeah.
So we're gonna get any more visuals coming soon?
Yes, yes, you are. I have a series of live performances coming out where I did a lot of the songs from Nina Gone Wild, and I did one of the songs off the EP, and they're like just all like stage live performances. So you're gonna be seeing those rolling out very soon, and we're also gonna drop some visuals, some really cool visuals for the songs on Pull Up. So it's definitely finna keep coming and be more and more like content for sure.
Yeah, I love that you keep touching base on Nina Gone Wild because when people make like really good music, quality music, they need to continue to touch base back on that.
Because I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if it's raw, like don't leave it out there like that. A lot of people still don't know about it and it could continue to spread.
Because something I noticed, like songs be getting popular and they didn't came out like a year or two ago, and they be old as hell, and they be the ones that put motherfuckers on. So yeah, I don't never think a song dead because it could just pop up.
It's never like that.
Yeah.
It's never like that because who knows who's gonna hear it.
Yeah, you don't know, and that's why you gotta keep putting it out there so more and more people can.
Exactly. Like what's that one dude name? Oh my god, Triple X XX. You know, buddy from Florida. Yeah. His song that got him famous. That was like 3 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, then people finally heard him. Like, man. So yeah, it's just timing, honestly.
Yeah, it's just it just takes the one right person. And
Exactly.
Go crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. So you got any questions?
Hell yeah. So like circling back to like Nina Gone Wild, how have you, I guess, as an artist, like changed from then dropping a project to like now with your new EP? Do you think you've changed at all?
I definitely think like I've grown as an artist. Like Nina Gone Wild was my first full project. So I made a lot of mistakes. Things happen certain ways that now I've learned from them, like, and they won't go down like that in Pull Up. It made Pull Up such an easier process because I already made all my mistakes. I already learned like how long I need and what I need to do, and so it definitely made it an easier process. So I would just say I think I've just grown as an artist. Like I know what to do a little better now.
What would you say, like, I guess when dropping a project, what does like success look like as far as like what you get from it?
I mean, to me, success looks like me being happy with it. Like, that's what I really, like, that's what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time in my career when I felt like I was really making music for other people, but now I feel like I just make what I like and hope other motherfuckers like it too. But, like, the point is for me to make something that I like, because I always have a hard time finding music I like. So I just try to make it myself. Like, if I want something that I haven't heard, I just try to make it myself so I can listen to it. So that's what success is for me, just when I'm really satisfied and when I'm really happy and proud of what I put out.
Okay, cool. And on that note, I know you mentioned like you make music that you would like to hear. So do you like listen to your own music?
Yes, I listen to my own music a lot, but the thing is, by the time my music comes out, I've had it for a minute,
okay.
so I don't usually like
It's
my
old to
shit.
you,
It's old to me by the time it come out. Like, I didn't play pull up into the ground, like so. I still like it, but it's not like because I've already listened to it a lot. So I'll be bumping my own music, but I bump it like way before it drops. So by the time it drops, I'll be chilling. But I don't really like to listen to my music with other people around, kind of.
Okay. I wanted to get more into like your recording process. So are you typically like writing in the studio, or do you write at home and then bring it to the studio and knock everything out, or what's that like?
So I don't like to write in the studio. Like, I've tried it a few times. I hate it. Like, I really hate it. So I like to come to the studio already knowing what I'm finna do, like song grit and all that shit. I honestly, and that's one of the things I've learned from like Nina Gone Wild coming into Pull Up. I like to go into the studio with like a whole draft already recorded. Like, I like to have practice, all of that shit, so I could just knock it right on out. I don't really like to just like a lot of people hang in the studio, and that's cool, but I don't really like to do that. I don't really like to go to the studio at night, none of that. Like, I just like to knock it out and get gone. So
hell yeah, gotta be efficient. Knock it out. Cool. That was really all I had to ask.
Yeah, I think we can end the interview on that note.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Nina. That was
thank you.
perfect.